Hi everyone, I am Miss Karen at Adams Memorial Library. Thank you so much for joining me and Mr. Alex for our June Inquire Within program. So here at the library, we're also in the middle of our summer reading program, and the theme this year is Oceans of Possibility. So our theme for June's Inquire Within program, we're also doing kind of an ocean theme. We're doing things in the water like whales, octopus, something like that. Kinds of fish, kind of something you might find in the water. So we'll have take-home kits available for you. You can come down to the children's room and pick one up, or you can always call the library and have kits reserved and pick them up through curbside service if you'd rather. But this month's kit has 4 different activities that I said are kind of ocean themed. We'll have a card game that you can make yourself. You can design it and make it yourself. It's sort of got an ocean theme. We have an activity where you can do your own fish, kind of like designing your own aquarium. One of the activities is making something you can use to decorate your bathroom, a bath friend to keep you company. And one is a science experiment to show how water moves through a river. So if you are interested in doing any of those activities, please come on down, pick up your kit, and then follow along in the video. And we'll get started. Thanks, friends. The card game that you're going to design and make is a version of Go Fish. See, get it? That's how it's got the ocean theme. Go Fish game. So in the kit, there's going to be an instruction sheet on how to play the game from Super Y. It doesn't actually have the cards from here. It has blank cards like this. There'll be 5 sheets because you're going to need 28 cards, and you can design them yourself. You can draw whatever you would like, or you can cut out pictures, but what you'll need is 4 of the same type of things 7 times. So I'll show you what I mean. You'll be designing your cards, but if you've ever had playing cards, they've got something on the back like this. So we're also going to give you some heavier paper with a design on the back. So once you've drawn your pictures, you'll glue it onto the stiffer paper with the design on the outside, and this will be the front of your card, what you draw. This will be the back of your card. There's going to be enough to do 30 cards on here. You're going to need 28, so there'll be 2 extra in case you mess up, like I did. But how it works is all your cards will have different things. So mine has a book, tree, oh, there's another book, a ball, that kind of thing. If you've never played Go Fish before, I'll tell you a little bit about it. Everybody starts off with 5 cards, and then all the rest of the cards go onto a pile. And the idea is to get 4 the same. So if these were my 5 cards, I've got a flower, ice cream cone, a butterfly, a tree, and another flower. I'm not a very good artist, so if I were playing this, I might actually put the words on too, so people knew what they were looking at. But since I have 2 flowers already, I would probably ask somebody if they had a flower. If they have a flower in their cards, they will have to give it to me. If they have 2 flowers, they'd have to give me both. If they do not have a flower, then they say, Go Fish. And then I would have to take another card from the pile. So it keeps going. The game keeps going. As soon as you get 4, you will put them all together and put them down and keep playing the cards that you have left in your hand. You keep playing until all the cards in the pile are gone, and then whoever has the most sets of 4 wins. And that's it. So you can decide whatever you would like to put on your cards. You just do 4 that are all going to be the same. They don't have to look exactly the same. They just have to be 4 of the same kind. So 4 flowers, even though my flowers look different, they're both flowers. And I had to draw things that I could draw, so you can do your designs as elaborately as you'd like. Mine are a little simple. And that's it. If you have any questions, you can look at the instructions which I just lost. Hang on. You can look at the instructions here. You can always come in and ask, and we'll be happy to give you a little bit more information about how to play Go Fish. If you saw our May Inquire Within program, it was about birds. And one of the activities was making decals to hang on your window so birds wouldn't accidentally fly into the glass. But I thought we could do it again this month. At this time, make fish. And if you did watch the May one, you'll know that I messed up a little bit and made mine too thin so they wouldn't peel off the plastic. So this time I used more glue and made it thicker, and they will peel off the plastic, but I kind of thought I'll just leave them on here because then it will kind of look like an aquarium. You can just hang this up somewhere. It can be your own little aquarium to look at. So we will give you the instructions. How to do this is you take glue, which will be in your kit, and a little bit of dish soap, like a 1/4 teaspoon, not too much, and you mix it together. We will give you paper. For this one, I used the template for the big one, and then I just drew these ones myself, kind of following the shape. But we'll give you the template, and we'll give you the plastic to put on top. You will take the glue that's mixed with the dishwashing liquid and just put it on. You can use a paintbrush, you can use a Q-tip. You just want kind of a thick layer on this. Then you let it dry overnight for at least 8 hours probably. You don't want it to feel tacky at all. So when it's all dry, you can do like I did and decorate with markers gently because you don't want to gouge a hole in the glue. Or you can follow the instructions on here and mix a little bit of food coloring in. And if you want to do it that way, you can always use an egg carton to put your different colored glues in. And then you could just paint different colored fish or whatever else you wanted for your aquarium. And when they're dry, they'll be already done. Once they're all dry, you can peel them off if you'd like, and then press them against a window. Or you could just keep them like this on the plastic and hang it up wherever you'd like and just pretend it's your own little aquarium.
Well, friends, after making that Go Fish game and our fish decals, you might be a little bit messy from all that crafting. So it's time to hop in the bath, and our next activity is that we are going to make our very own bath friend following these instructions. So be sure to get this packet out of your kit, and I'll show you the other things that we need in order to make this sponge toy. Assembling our bath friend is pretty simple. We're just going to need a sponge, a piece of pipe cleaner, 2 wiggle eyes, some glue, and a pair of scissors. And the first step to assembling our bath friend is that we are going to round off the top part just like this, just by cutting into each of the corners and making a semicircle at the top of our sponge. We can trim it up a little bit as much as we'd like, but just remember, if you keep cutting, eventually you're not going to have much sponge left. So once the top of our bath friend is rounded off like that, we're going to set these scraps of sponge aside, and we're going to add some tentacles. So we're going to accomplish this just by cutting a few straight lines right into the bottom of our bath friend. Then, once we've done that, and we want them to be all about the same height, we can just separate the pieces a little bit like this and bend and manipulate them so that they're how we like them. If you really want to make sure that you can see the differences between each of the tentacles, we could even take the scissors and cut a very skinny sliver out of each of the tentacles, and that will create a space that looks like this in between them. So if we cut each piece just a narrow little bit out, then that's going to give us something that looks like this. Oh. Looks just like this. And now our bath friend has some tentacles. Finally, our bath friend is going to need a face. And in order to do this, we're just going to take our pipe cleaner, cut a piece of it off, set the extra aside, and take the piece that we've cut and turn it into a smile. You could also make it a frowny face, or if maybe your bath friend is a little bit surprised, you could bend it and fold it into a circle just like this. Then we're going to go ahead and take our glue and apply some of it onto our pipe cleaner very carefully. And once we have a good amount of glue on our pipe cleaner, we're just going to go ahead and set that on our sponge wherever we would like our mouth to be. And apply just a little bit of pressure. Then, finally, our bath friend is going to need some eyes. So we're going to go ahead and just, again, apply that glue to the back of the wiggle eyes and put those into place as well. So I'm going to put one eye here and one eye here. Now, just a couple of things to keep in mind is that our glue is going to take time to dry. So as you can see, it's still pretty wet. We're going to let this dry overnight so that it really adheres to our sponge. The other thing to keep in mind is that while the sponge was made to go in the water, the wiggle eyes and pipe cleaner are not as prepared for the bath, and they might fall off or otherwise be damaged. So you can definitely take your bath friend along with you when you're getting ready to hop in the bathtub, but I maybe wouldn't submerge them underwater the whole way. Either way, I'm sure that your bath friend will turn out great. Well, friends, if playing with the water in your bathtub wasn't enough fun, what about the water in a river? Now, we can't bring a whole river to you, but we can build our own. So for our next activity, we're going to grab this packet here and build a dam and explore water flow. And I'll show you exactly how we're going to do that. Alrighty, friends. So now we are going to get our packet and we are going to explore how to build a dam and explore water flow. So the first thing that we're going to do as a part of this experiment is that we're going to think about how rivers work in real life and then build our own miniature river. Now, I've already skipped ahead on these steps, and I took some cardboard and some aluminum foil and built this river of my own. Now, I made sure that I have a plastic bin to put my river in since I am doing this experiment inside, but if you're doing your experiment outside, then you may not need this plastic bin. Additionally, I need to make sure that my river here is at an incline or is headed downhill so that the water will actually flow through it. If my river is just sitting flat like this, the water's not going to go anywhere. But now that we have our experimental river all set up, then we can move on to the next step, which is to test out how water flows through it and how we can add things to impact how the water flows. So if we have our river and we take our pitcher of water and just pour a little bit of water into it, the water just flows right down to the bottom and collects here in the bottom of our river. Now, we might think about how in real rivers, there are other things that are in the water that affect how the water flows. And one of those things are rocks. So I'm going to put a few of these rocks here in our river, and I'm going to see how that affects the flow of the water. So again, I've placed a few rocks in, and I'm going to pour my water in. And as we can see, although the rocks do block the river, a lot of our water has still ended up at the bottom. And this is because if I look at my rocks, I can see that there are actually all of these gaps in between my rocks. So maybe we need to try something else to block off our river. The next thing that I wanted to try after experimenting with our rocks is I thought about beavers and beaver dams. And I know that those block off rivers. So I went outside and I got some sticks. And I think that we can use these sticks and break some of them up, maybe a few of these smaller pieces that I have here, and we can build our own simulated beaver dam, just like you would see in nature. So I'm just going to take a few of these sticks and I'm going to stack them in the middle of our river, and I'm going to hope that this will help block off some of the water, just like a real beaver dam. Add a few more sticks, and I think that we'll be ready to go. So let's see how this impacts the flow of our water. We'll get our pitcher of water, pour some of it in, and as we can see, it does an okay job. There's a little bit of water getting caught, and it does take longer for it to flow to the bottom, but the water is still making it to the bottom of our river. So what else can we do? I have one other thing that I want to try, and that's that after thinking about it a little bit, I realized that beaver dams are made of more than just sticks. They also have mud in them. And so I'm going to take some of this mud and I'm going to add it to my pile of sticks, and I'm going to use it to sort of seal up any cracks that might be in my sticks, where the water might be getting through. And I think this is really going to do a good job of sealing off my river. I want to make sure that I keep it at an incline. And I'm just going to keep adding mud to seal off any areas that the water might be able to get through. And once I've done that, I'm going to brush off my hands a little bit because we are very dirty. And I'm going to take our water pitcher and add one more batch of water to our river. And as we can see, this definitely did a better job of blocking up the water flow in our river. I can see that the water was absorbed into the mud and dirt up at the top, and very little of it made it the whole way down to the bottom of our river. So I think it's time for you to build your own river and see what objects you can use to change the water flow and figure out what the best way to block or dam up your river might be. Well, friends, we have had so much fun in the water thanks to our friends at WQED Education and Clearview Federal Credit Union, who made this program possible. Don't forget that we'd like to see how your projects turned out. So be sure to send us pictures using the Summer Reading Shutterbug badge if you're tracking your summer reading activities on Beanstack. And don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube for updates not only about Inquire Within, but everything else that we're doing here at the library. And as always, happy crafting, everybody. Friends, are you tracking your progress this summer using the Beanstack app as part of our summer reading program? If you are, then you're definitely going to want to enter the code word SURF to get credit for today's Inquire Within activity. That code word is SURF, and it's going to appear right here on the screen. So be sure to enter it in order to claim your prize tickets.